why are you so calm? This is years ago. And I asked him, why are you so calm? He said, why wouldn't I be? I was like, yeah, you just seem really calm. He's like, well, I've done all the work, you know? I've done all the work. I made sure I did all the work. Now, you kind of just have to surrender. You have the vision of victory in your mind. You have, you know, being successful and everything, but you have to surrender to the will of the creator, the universe. And people always say that, you know, it's in God's plan. I know where that comes from. And sometimes people use it as a cop-out. And I'm like, no, you can't use that as a cop-out. But I understand the process. Like you said, let the chips fall where they may. It is God's plan. It wasn't meant to be right there and then, or it was. But there's a moment where you just have to surrender and just let it go.
What actually goes through the Golden Bolt's mind?
All you try to do is just relax, really. For me, it's always just trying to compose myself. Try to not think about anything, because as soon as something comes in your mind, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So for me, I try to clear my mind as quickly as possible and just take some deep breaths, really.
Hello. What do we think? Have you noticed how not just women, but people in general have a tendency of gravitating towards others who are quick and decisive in the moment? You wonder why the jerk has a tendency of getting what they want out of life, but it's not so much that the individual is a jerk. That's not what's working for him. More so than that, he just doesn't care and does what he wants, which innately mitigates forethought behind their decisions. The pure one's intent, and the less you think about a decision in the moment, the more likely you're able to take what you want from that moment, regardless of if you're good or evil. In life, you don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be evil. The act of being decisive, taking action and not thinking too much is more likely to grant that individual more from life. Survival and reproduction, it is for the same reason as to why individuals who make decisions without thinking too much are polarizing, captivating, attractive. It's nature's way of saying, if this person can get away with this and still live, he's a high-status individual. The ease or peace followed through with genuine intent, that is the ultimate emanation of status. Why else would you care to listen to a monk in a potato sack who spent most of their life sitting on a rock? He doesn't care what you look like, or where you are from, what your actual intent is, whether you are good or evil. If you stop thinking so much, because frankly you just do not care, then follow through decisively, genuinely with your actions, you will more often get what you want. So that leads us back to the question, why do we think? It's a tool we use to adapt. We see a problem, we think about it, then find a solution to that problem. Understanding this is a very valuable tool to the human condition, and quite frankly, we need it. We need it to reflect on problems so that we may solve them and move forward. But here's another truth, as there is always two sides to every coin. Imagine being an animal or a being from a more primitive time. If you are a lower member status of your tribe, you innately will have to think more than someone who's a higher status member. Why? It's likely because a lower member of the tribe will likely have more things to worry about, not just because of your own problems, but other creatures pushing their problems onto you. Perhaps you have seen this in your work environment, even to this day, as we are all emanations of nature. Innately, it will start manifesting as anxiety, and people will see this, thus judge your status based upon it. There's a reason as to why more confident fools, narcissists, are more likely to take charge of social interactions even in a business setting. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. One of the painful things about our time is that those who feel certainty are stupid, and those with any imagination and understanding are filled with doubt and indecision. Bertrand Russell. It all starts to make a little more sense, doesn't it? Your life, the people around you, both have their strengths and flaws. Thinking and not thinking. The fool who takes action while thinking will find more momentary success, but is more likely to encounter failure. But also the bright mind that withers away from all their brilliance locked in indecision. They will think and think and think, all without even having the chance to fail, thus no chance to ever win. I would say both at an extreme are evil. But the key then is to find a balance. To know when to reflect, when to think, a way of moving forward that makes sense, but at the same time, being present when you have confidence in those thoughts. in your direction. That's the key. Trusting yourself and being present until there comes a time where you need to make an adjustment. From there, you make a note, you make your adjustment, then you continue moving forward in presence. That's the balance. If you figure out what work you need to do, then you do the work. What else could thinking help you with? Like a muscle, you'd only make yourself more neurotic by reinforcing that habitual thinking, especially if most of those thoughts are just an illusion that you will do nothing with. No longer do they provide tangible value. Thus, when it comes to the moment, still high-strung on thoughts, cortisol, stressing yourself out, you choke.
The first 2 rounds I was flowing, I was feeling myself, I was feeling it. And then by the 3rd round, because I haven't been there yet, I just started thinking. I started thinking too much. Even my coaches could see it. I wasn't flowing. Like I said, I was thinking too much. I was stuck.
Everything you have trained, everything you have worked towards does not come out the way you trained it to. You are stifling your ability to articulate what you've spent so much of your time trying to craft for the moment. The only problem is, you're not in the moment. When you've done the work, being in the moment, being calm, present, that is trust in yourself. That is true confidence. And when you understand this, not just in martial arts, you realize this is true with all facets of life. Thinking means to adapt, making adjustments. Why would you need to make an adjustment if you believe your work was enough? Or even that you've done all you believe you could have done? Understanding this, innately you should feel why it is so stifling. Why it keeps us from grasping the world before us with an ease hard work should have forged. Life may demand pain in exchange for desire, but the overall decisions of life are relatively simple. Do not let your mind make it harder than it has to be. Trust your work by getting out of your own way. If for some reason it wasn't enough, reflect. Take the pain as a lesson and adjust. From there, continue on your way. If you'd like to stay elevated, please subscribe and hit the notifications. Thank you if you did. It truly does up the channel. Thank you. Smash like button if you enjoyed. It's good karma. And until next time, peace.